Richmond, Virginia, steeped in American soccer history, and tonight from City Stadium in the River City, it's Richmond Kickers and 1 Knoxville SC. It's USL League One on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. With former MLS and USL striker Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Donnie Barnes. Both teams played in the opener of the Jägermeister Cup last weekend, but tonight it's back to league play, and important for both these sides to get back to picking up points.
And you look at 1 Knoxville, the visitors here, they lost against Omaha at home, so the reaction for Mark McGeever needs to be spot on. For Richmond Kickers at home once again, they lost against Spokane, so I do think the first 10 to 15 minutes here, Donnie, is going to be really important to see who imposes their identity on the opposition.
Richmond, a really entertaining side. They've scored 7 goals in 5 league matches so far, but they've also conceded 11.
And you can see they can score goals and they can get a lot of players high up the field, but I do think the question for the home side in the Richmond Kickers is how good defensively can they be? You get a clean sheet and then you let the players higher up the field produce that little bit of individual brilliance, and take a look at this goal from Shenfield. Fantastic stuff for the Richmond Kickers.
They're always capable of the spectacular, especially on the offensive end. Nil Vignal's always a threat for them, one of the best attacking midfielders in League One. He's your player to watch tonight, presented by the YMCA.
And he's going to play as that withdrawn number 10 position. How quickly can he get comfortable? Because he can beat you through 1v1. He can beat you through combination play. He's a top-class player. His technical ability, I think he's going to be a really important part for the home side here today. 1
Knoxville, one of the best defensive sides in the league, just 2 goals conceded in 4 games.
But they also have the ability to score goals and score goals for fun. You have players that want to advance in that higher third. They can beat you from wide areas. They can beat you through center parts of the field. I do think for Mark McGeever, winning second balls higher up the field is going to be very important here for the visitors.
Yeah, they can score some spectacular ones as well. As you see, some bangers from outside the area already. And for 1 Knox, Angelo Kelly has been the key figure in their positive start to 2024.
And 2 goals, 2 assists on the season. You see his track record with 1 Knoxville. He's going to start on the right-hand side, but can play centrally. He has the freedom to roam as he sees fit. The question for Mark McGeever is how quickly can he get in rhythm, because he's shown he can be a special player for the visitors.
He is their heartbeat. He is their leader, and we'll see if he can spark them here tonight. The weather has been great in Richmond today, and a great crowd on hand as always. Always a great atmosphere at City Stadium. Can Richmond show out for America's soccer audience, or can 1 Knox continue their fine start under the Friday night Golazo lights? Starting 11s and kickoff next.
How much is the Branzino?
It's market price.
CarMax has upfront pricing on cars. You can't tell me how much a fish costs?
Ma'am. Ma'am, you can't use our bathtubs.
CarMax has test drives. You can't have test baths?
How did you even get water in there?
I don't know. You tell me.
I hate this job.
Experience CarMax, and you'll never settle for anything less.
So we've decided to sell the house.
Oh, yeah? Who's your realtor?
Well,
Home for sale, home for sale. Over here, guys, over here. Only $10.
Where do I find comps? What is encumbrance? How do I escrow?
Here's what I found for Scarecrow.
actually, I've been meaning to ask who you and Paul worked with.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Procession onto the pitch, Richmond and 1 Knoxville tonight from City Stadium here in Richmond, Virginia. Let's take a look at the starting 11s today, presented by the YMCA. For the home side, Richmond Kickers, notably Ryan Shello makes his first league start in goal.
He needs to be very confident, but you look at that back four in front of them. You look at that middle three, Moran, Vaughn, and Vignals. Really important the first 10 minutes for this Richmond side.
And kicking off already tonight, and so I'll have to go back to those 11s and talk you through them as we go through these early minutes. But we are in motion in Richmond with the Kickers looking to turn an early corner. Knoxville looking to stay hot. It is Knoxville in the white and orange tonight. Richmond all in red, as they traditionally have been for most of the last 30 years. Richmond, of course, one of the longest continuous running clubs in American soccer, founded in 1993. They celebrated their 30th anniversary last year. Early whistle, early free kick, 30 seconds in for the visitors. So one Knoxville, we didn't get a chance to see their starting 11, but often lining up in a 3-4-3. They can be pretty fluid in front of Sean Lewis, who is one of the best goalkeepers in League One, as that spins out for a goal kick for Richmond. Sean Lewis, last year's Golden Gloves winner. We'll see him between the sticks for the visitors momentarily.
And something that we've seen from Mark McGeever's side, a 3-back, a 4-back, whatever it may be, they have the fluidity and they understand the roles that is asked upon from their head manager.
Early exchanges, high boot there, another free kick for a One Knox, who have the reputation for being a team that fouls a lot and led the league in fouls last year, the visitors, but they've been fouled twice in the early exchanges. Maxi Schenfeld guilty of that one.
I had the chance to talk with Darren Sawatsky, and he said, look, second balls are going to be really important because One Knoxville, they like to play direct and try to win those balls higher up the field. If you're back line for the Richmond Kickers, how good can you be defensively? It's going to be a really big challenge for the home side.
First chance for Richmond to try to build something as they look to settle and maintain some possession. Early touch for Griffin Garnett, one of those very young players that Richmond are betting in this year. Turned over in the top of the area. Chance for the visitors to strike early. Cut back across the face. What a save! Ryan Shello in his first league start makes a tremendous stop just 2 minutes in. Well, that's the form that has seen him, at least for now, supplant Pablo Jara in goal for Richmond.
A little bit sloppy here from the Kickers, but give credit to One Knoxville. Look how many numbers they get forward. Kalichero goes byline. Where's the space? It's a cutback. But what a fantastic save. Just watch the footwork from Shello. The way that he pushes off that left leg to throw him right. Big time save from the keeper between the sticks.
He denied Callum Johnson, who thought he had an open goal. Results in a corner for One Knox, and Johnson takes it himself, curls it in right-footed. Shello Kane didn't get there. Teammates trying to scramble it away, and they do, and the whistle relieves pressure for now.
And you already see One Knoxville, they're electing to press high. They're trying to force turnovers higher up the field. So you need to be very important. We talked about the keys for this Richmond side. Keep it moving. The ball needs to move quick from left to right, and also decision-making needs to be spot on. We've already seen 4 minutes in how explosive the visitors can be.
Keys to the game presented by CarMax. Here is the first time Sean Lewis has come into frame. Award-winning goalkeeper for One Knox, and their key to the game, keep it away.
Because Richmond, they like to get on the ball. They want to dictate tempo, so how do you take the game away from that middle three of the Richmond Kickers, Moran, Vaughn, and Vinyals, players that are so good at pulling the strings. You want to play this game on your terms if you're Mark McGeever.
Battle for that ball on that far side, and Richmond able to win that. That's something they need to settle into this game. Frantic, sloppy start from them.
Yeah, how do you settle into this game and get the confidence within the side? Yes, you want to be possession-based, Donnie, but you have to be good in your decision-making. There's nothing wrong with playing direct into that front line and relieving some of that pressure. Great ball.
It's a beautiful flick, and just ran out of play before Justin Suko could run onto it. That's the kind of silky interplay that Richmond are capable of. Why they do score quite a few goals. As we detailed in our open, it has been the other end that's been the problem for them as we look at head coach Darren Sawatsky and the injury report presented by Bon Secor. Emiliano Terzaghi's been out since last year. Beckett Howell, a lower leg issue. Tony Pineda as well. They are getting a couple guys back. 2 players available off the bench tonight that they've not had in a while. Guy Franca, who was supposed to be one of their starting center backs this year. More on that shortly, but it's One Knox on the attack here. Fainting by the end line. Richard Ballard standing it all the way across. Too much on it. And skips out for a Richmond throw. 5 minutes gone, 0-0. I would think Mark McKeever's pretty pleased with how the visitors have settled into this. McKeever from Motherwell, Scotland. First and only head coach one Knoxville have had in their brief history. Knox played, of course, in USL League Two in 2022, then moved up to League One last year. Mark McKeever, very successful at the Division II NCAA level for 2 decades with Young Harris. 18 years there, won over 200 matches. Also very successful in League Two, winning a League Two title with Des Moines Menace a few years ago. Several of the players on this one Knox roster played on that Des Moines team for him as well. Richmond still trying to settle things here. That ball read and cut out by Gio Calixtro. Hassled then by Suko. Unforced error from Knoxville there to hand Richmond a throw. It's been one Knox with the better opportunities, though, early on. When you have a bit of a shaky beginning and your team's struggling to settle in, especially as a former striker, Ricky, Richmond strikers here have hardly touched the ball so far. How do you get yourself into a game when you're not seeing much of it?
You just have to do the simple things well. It's going to be a really big challenge for Sierakowski, lone striker for the Richmond Kickers. Yes, because by tendency you want to drop in, right? You want to get your touches, but that actually does what you don't want to happen. You need to stay high. You need to occupy the 2 center backs for one Knoxville, because then you get the players underneath you to get in the real estate that they can operate in, and they can get you the ball. And as a number 9, as an attacking player, you make your money in around that 18-yard box. So yes, it's okay not to be part of the build-up, but you want to have the ability to be on the final touch and find the back of the net.
Richmond not pressing high in the early going. Haven't had much opportunity to. One Knox knocking it around the back pretty comfortably. Sean Lewis, 32 years old, in goal for one Knox. Played for FC Tulsa and Indy 11 before coming to Knoxville last year. Strong touch from Kempis Tequila, able to bring teammates into the play, and now it's Calixtro down the right. Calixtro has a couple to aim for in the box. Calixtro trying to dance past a defender. It spins and stays in play along that end line and can be cleared.
And it's interesting, you're looking at this build-out phase for one Knoxville. Richmond Kickers, especially in the middle of the park, they're going man for man. So you have Moran and Vaughn staying likes for like with their opposing center midfielder. So if you are Richard Ballard or Calixtro, how do you come centrally to create an overload?
Dakota Barnathan back from injury today. He'd missed the last few weeks. And Richmond really missed him in the center of defense. Turned over again in the middle of the park by Richmond. One Knoxville again with Angelo Kelly. This is where Knoxville are okay with pulling it back and maintaining control of the game. They lose out there. Vignoles. Richmond really want to get on the ball in the advanced portion of the field, not necessarily right outside their own 18, but he will track back and help defend when he needs to.
We had the ability to talk with both of the head coaches, and he was a topic of conversation, saying that he is one of, if not the best, number 10 in all of USL League One. The ability that he has, the technical ability, the combination play, the vision. So like you said, Donnie, 10 minutes in, how do you get him on the ball higher up the field? That's going to be really important for the Richmond Kickers.
Look at the Red Army supporters section for Richmond. Most historic supporters sections in the country as well. Always here, always loud. And the flag is up for offside. Chandler O'Dwyer, imposing presence on that front line for Richmond. Scored a couple league goals already this year. Aaron Zawadzki coached in the Seattle Sounders Academy. coached at FC Tucson, came here to Richmond a few years ago. They won the Supporters' Shield, the regular season title in League One just 2 years ago in 2022, and then finished 11th out of 12 teams last year. Really difficult second half of the season where they didn't win a game after July 1st, riddled by injuries, and struggled to close out games. They were in most of those, just couldn't finish. Lost 22 points from winning positions last year. A team that always looked much better than the results would indicate. Looking better early on this season, but just the one league win so far. That's why tonight feels really big from their standpoint. Only 22 league matches this year, with the advent of the Jägermeister Cup taking a good portion of the calendar, so that makes every league match that much more important in a more compressed season. Maxi Schenfeld, and then Vignals. Suko. Knoxville usually very disciplined in their defensive positioning.
Just see how compact they are from front to back, about 20-25 yards. Not a lot of space to play between lines if you're Richmond kicker, so the ball needs to move a little bit quicker.
Intercepted by Angelo Kelly. No look back heel flick. His teammate wasn't where he thought he would be, but his other teammates able to help out and clean things up. Jordan Skelton, such a massive presence on that back line for One Knox, both literally and figuratively. Here's a free kick for Richmond just outside the center circle. Callum Johnson penalized and disagrees. Zaka Moran, the man he fouled. Moran is one of those players who will do that dirty work for Richmond. Led the team in tackles and interceptions last year, and willing to put himself in situations like that. This free kick goes Knoxville's way. Moran on the other end of that one.
Needs to be very careful, Moran. You can't let your emotions get the better of you. A little bit rash the way that he gets into this challenge. I do think it's going to be a really big challenge for him and Vaughn. How do you dictate tempo, and how do you deal with second balls that we know when Knoxville likes to play direct?
Wesley Costa, our center referee tonight. Long ball down this right side. Too far for the reach of James Thomas. This is the only match in progress in League One right now. Later tonight, Central Valley Fuego will take on Charlotte Independence out west in Fresno, California. That at 10:30 Eastern. Tomorrow, a big slate of matches across League One and USL Championship. What can Knoxville create here? Richard Ballard carrying it wide. Lots of white shirts in that penalty area. Pulls it back for Kelly. Now a chance to swing one in from that wing. Top of the 6. Strong defensive header away. It needed to be. Bill Vignals, flanked by 2 white shirts, loses out, and Kelly has a chance to pick it up in the center of the park. Angelo Kelly thinking about lining one up. Played it instead to Ballard, who had to chase it down. Kelly would have preferred that on his right foot, I think.
I do think he's waiting for the run from Richard Ballard just to break the line as well. If he pulls out the defender with him, that's when Angelo Kelly can just chop it back to his right foot. Little moments like that are so important, especially when you're on the road. How clinical can you be in the final third? And that was one of the keys that Mark McKeever gave us. You need to be very clinical in taking your chances, especially when you're on the road.
Mark McKeever wants his team to have the ball, and especially against Richmond, who are such a possession-based team and rely on that. He wants them to starve them of possession. Into the middle this goes. Strong cutback from that far corner flag, but went between those white shirts. But Knoxville so far, I think, doing exactly what Mark McKeever wants. They are starving Richmond of possession. Knoxville are very meticulous about their build-outs and how they want to advance the ball into that final third. As Kelly gets taken out here, free kick, and I think it's going to be the game's first card. It is. 15 minutes gone, and the opening caution of the match as the yellow card shown to James Vaughn.
Kelly's just so clever, the space that he picks up, just so quick, so slippery. It's a mistimed challenge for Vaughn. Takes all of Angelo Kelly. Not what you want if you're Darren Sawatsky. Player in the center of the park on a yellow card. Big challenge for his discipline and his positioning for the remainder of this one.
He and Zaka Moran so important as those more defensive-minded midfielders. Attacking set piece for one Knox. They scored from a similar one against Chattanooga last weekend. This one they play short, then lofted into that box. Initial header was won by Skelton. Second ball cleared by Richmond. That's the threat they pose in the box, though, with those big bodies like Jordan Skelton.
Set pieces are so important, especially when the margin of error is just so thin in these types of matches. We talked about how important every single game is in the regular season. Great move.
This is toward the penalty spot. Shouts for a penalty, waved away by the referee, and hacked away by Richmond again. Wesley Costa immediately waved his arm, saying no penalty. Let's see it again.
Left side of your screen, arriving late. I'll tell you what, it does seem like he gets there first, Tequila. I do think it's Fish that just mistimes this challenge. I do think there is shouts for a penalty if you are one Knoxville. As a defender, you have to be so decisive when you decide to leave your feet.
Sierakowski applying pressure at the other end and does force a turnover, but then it runs past Nil Vinyals. That was a good opportunity for Richmond to turn defense into attack. Ryan Shello, one massive save just over 2 minutes in. Hasn't really been tested since, even though Knoxville have had most of the early pressure. Shello, a developing tremendous story in League One. Hardly played the last several seasons. A career backup in his mid-20s now. Only had about a half dozen professional starts over the last several years. And head coach Darren Sawatsky telling us this week, we see something in him that I think is special. I think he's a gamer, and they're giving him an opportunity. He's played really well in their cup games, including last weekend in their eventual shootout win over Greenville. Made a few key stops in that one. And looking good so far tonight.
Saw the ability to make that massive save. How quickly he gets around his 18-yard box and his 6-yard box, the ability to command it. Could have been a completely different start. That ball hits the back of the net for one Knoxville and the Richmond Kickers. So that's going to do a world of good for his confidence.
Now this is where Richmond can be really dangerous. These attacking throws, they've scored from a number of these the last couple of years. Simon Fitch, who often takes them, right in front of that Red Army. Fitch has the late runner who wins that initial flick on. That was skimmed by James Vaughn. Made that late run and got on the end of it. Second ball didn't fall for anybody in red. They're very creative from those attacking throws. Schenfeld keeps that in play, harassed and not fouled, despite the shouts by James Thomas.
Let's watch the right leg of Thomas that catches Schenfeld on the follow-through. It is a foul. Took a little bit to get there from our center referee, Wesley Costa. But he's been very active 20 minutes in on this left-hand side, Schenfeld has.
Yeah, the foul was given in the end. So Schenfeld booming that free kick across the pitch. First ball won, a chance for Sierakowski to run onto it. Great sliding tackle. The flag was up. It is offside. will not be a corner for Richmond.
It's the second time that Sierakowski is getting caught offside. You need to be a little bit more decisive and disciplined in your positioning. You need to be able to read the line, and as Skelton steps up, how do you drop with him to keep yourself onside?
Well, the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup continues on Saturday, May 11th with the second round of games in group play starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Watch all the Cup games streaming exclusively on ESPN+. So over 20 minutes gone in Richmond, 0-0. Kickers and 1 Knox. Richmond starting perhaps to grow into the game a bit over the last few minutes, but 1 Knoxville still posing the majority of the early threat. This is Kelly. He will drift all over the park, but is usually in a central position. He is the central figure for this team. The flicked layoff there was Kempis Tequila. He was from Germany. Shares a name with Mario Kempis, who of course is an Argentina legend. That 1978 World Cup winning side. Knoxville able to win that high up the pitch, but then the dribbles weren't optimal and the ball was lost and the foul was committed by Richard Ballard. One of a number of players on this Knoxville roster with big experience at the USL Championship level. He's played for Louisville City, Miami FC, Detroit City. They've been very aggressive in putting this roster together. Good raking ball right onto the chest of Justin Suko. The Richmond, as we're halfway into this opening half, Ricky, just not able to play their way through the thirds up the pitch into the attacking half.
Yeah, they haven't found any sort of rhythm playing in between lines. And that's something that we've come accustomed to from this Richmond kicker side, the ability to build out, break teams down with their possession. We haven't seen Vinyals get on the ball, and that I do think that is a big problem for Darren Sawatsky, because he is the one that pulls the strings and connects that back line to that front line. Well, how do you get him more involved as this first half progresses? But give credit to the visitors. They've been very stout defensively, very stingy.
Thomas, the overlapping ball for Calixtro. He'll be disappointed with that because Calixtro is in a lot of space. Thomas, too much weight on it, and it's a goal kick.
Just watch the way that the kickers like to build out on the top line. Whether it is Skelton or Halke, they're stepping with Vinyals, really to try and take the game away from him. If you are Sierakowski and you see that, you need to make those runs into the channel.
And again, Richmond lose it in their own half. And Sawatsky to help his team through this rocky period of the game. I mentioned Neil Vinyals not getting on it much in this opening half. You can tell as Calixtro's taken a seat and see if he's able to continue. Looks like he'll require treatment at a minimum. That would be unfortunate for Knox to have to make an early change as well as they've started this game. Calixtro came up through the Portland Timbers Academy. Back to Richmond with Neil Vinyals being isolated pretty effectively by one Knox's game plan so far. The kickers do have Adrian Billhart back on their bench tonight, available perhaps in the second half. Billhart's been out injured the last couple weeks. He's been a massive attacking weapon for them in the early weeks of this season, and they look like a different team when he's on the pitch. So Darren Sawatsky in the back of his mind might be thinking, if we can hang in this game So the final 30, 20 minutes or so and get Adrian Billhard on, and things might open up for them. But that's easier said than done against a team playing as well as Knoxville are.
We talked about it in the open, a team that's only conceded 2 goals all season. So they're very difficult to break down. I do think if you're Vinyls, how smart can you be with your movement as well? If you can pull out Skelton, if you can pull out Haugli towards areas, especially towards the end line or sidelines, you can open up gaps for other players. So that's when the movement of number 11, Sierakowski, becomes so much more important. He needs to be a focal point to play off of. And then O'Dwyer, we haven't seen much of him. So if you don't get those attacking players touches confidence, it's going to be really difficult to get any sort of rhythm.
Calixto back on his feet, able to walk off, so that's a good sign. Has to be difficult, though, either as a target forward or one of those wingers, Ricky, when you're not involved in the game. You don't want to force things or do things that are out of character that put your team in a compromised position on the other side of the ball. But you do have to help make something happen sometimes.
And you can do that through your positioning, right? Try to be expansive, staying high and wide, so you have the players in the center of the park to get the opportunity to pick up their head and to find those passing lanes. You just look at how the Richmond Kickers are trying to build up. They're just too compact. They're too narrow. It's the opposite of what you want to do when you're on the ball. You want to be as expansive and make the field as big as possible.
So Calixto back on the pitch as this spins out for a Richmond throw. Gio Calixto able to continue. Just to underline how much more dangerous Knoxville have been so far. They've had 4 touches in Richmond's box. Richmond have not had a touch in Knoxville's penalty area. Knoxville 3 victories in 4 league games. They won their first 3 and lost their last league match 1-0 to Union Omaha at home on a tremendous thunderbolt goal from distance. A game that otherwise didn't have a lot to separate the two sides. But impressive wins against Charlotte, Lexington, and Tormenta to open the year. Here they come down the left. Dancing toward that end line, cutting one back. Callum Johnson against a body and then booted clear. Knoxville able to create openings down those flanks, though, able to serve dangerous balls into the box. They work through the lines again. Laid off toward that corner area. Top of the 6, over everyone's head. And hunted down, taken the other way by Justin Suko. Vinyals. It's a great turn from him to keep possession and shepherd it into the path of his teammate Zaka Moran, who in turn plays it for Suko. Best movement so far for Richmond today. Moran by the end line, his cutback partially blocked and then hammered out of play. It'll be a throw for Richmond. Best moment of the match for them.
You just see how much attention Vinyls requires as he pulls 2 players with him. That releases another player, Moran and Suko. Like you said, a lot of movement, a lot of players running ahead of the ball and challenging the shape of one Knoxville. So how do you grow on this confidence from the home side?
It's one of those attacking throws for Richmond, and Maxi Schenfeld will take this one. Trebuchets it into the box. And then Schenfeld hammers it over the bar. Well, there's Richmond able to get onto the second ball this time. Schenfeld just couldn't keep that drive down. First shot of the game for the Kickers, nearly a half an hour in. Here goes Angelo Kelly. He's on to the end of this. Only has Calixto to aim for in the box. Kelly up against James Vaughn. Ballard. Charlie Matchell. Overlapping run. Stood up to the 6. Great volley. Opening goal. It's a tremendous one for One Knox. The Smoky Mountain boys out to the lead. Half an hour in. And it's a smooth finish for Kempis Tequila. Top shelf goal. One Knox. 1-0.
Decision-making, execution, and wide areas has been the name of the game for this One Knoxville side. Just watch how Richie continues his run and the quality of service, but take nothing away from this finish from Tequila. How do you create your space as a number 9? He peels off of Garnett. The body control, just watch the hips at the last second. He closes them and simply guides this into the far post. Fantastic goal for One Knoxville, and they take the lead here on the road.
Goals presented by Uptown Alley. And finished by Kempis Tequila. Not a sponsor, that's his name. And boy, did he look good there. There he is, right back onto the ball, trying to flick it into the path of Callum Johnson. Ryan Shello made that tremendous save 2 minutes in. Couldn't do anything about that last one.
It's the understanding of getting yourself into an advanced position as a number 9. How do you play off the blind side and how to create your own space? Something that is just so important for an attacking player. Give credit to Richie. He gets himself in that final third, head up the whole way, and puts a ball in that gives his teammates a chance to get on the end of it. What a really good goal that is from the number 10 from the visitors. The technical ability, the body control. So if you're Mark McKeever, you have to be so pleased with how your boys have approached 32 minutes into this game.
Now for Richmond, though there's still an hour left in this game, the task gets tougher against one of the best defensive sides in the league. Conceding that first goal. Uphill battle now. Still plenty of time in which to fight it. Do well to advance into the attacking half. It's a nice ball that's touched down by Schenfeld. Now Justin Suko. Suko into the area, the step overs. Suko end line. Suko's cut back, blocked out. Corner, first of the match for the home side. Decent response from them.
Comes down to his positioning from Suko. As you build on the right-hand side, the real estate is if you change your point of attack. Good movement from Sarakowski, Schenfeld, and now you win a very dangerous set piece when this man's over the ball.
Richmond, very dangerous from set pieces the last couple of years. Put in by Vignoles, back post, came through everyone. There were shouts for handball from Knoxville. Doesn't matter, it's a goal kick. We're seeing Richmond start to apply a little bit of a press, win some balls back themselves. Space down the right, but the ball again too heavy. Simon Fitch making that run, not found. As we remind you that Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. This is a Richmond free kick. And Charlie Matchell asking what he did. Decent chance for Richmond to serve something into a dangerous spot.
Aiming for right between that penalty mark and 6-yard box, really to test Lewis and his back line, cause a little bit of chaos. Gonna hit this with a lot of pace.
Vignal steps over it. Swung in left-footed. Good ball! What a save! Sean Lewis touches it onto the bar, and it's over and out. It'll be a corner. It could have been so much more, but the defending Golden Gloves winner keeps his side ahead 1-0.
We've talked about how important set pieces can be for this Richmond side. Fantastic ball in, and Barnathan eludes his individual marker, gets contact on it, but if you put it anywhere else, it's 1-1.
Ensuing corner couldn't be kept in play. Goal kick.
But the positioning of Lewis was top class, Donnie. The way that he just stays his ground, the reaction to punch it up and over the bar, textbook goalkeeping.
I saw the frustration from Barnathan afterward. So nearly a perfect return from injury for him. He missed almost all of last year with injury as well. Especially when you're a central defender, you don't get the chance to score very often. When you're thwarted like that, it has to really be frustrating. Tricky one to deal with here for Richmond. One Knox trying to maraud and might create an opportunity. They have it on the edge of the box now. James Thomas swinging it in left-footed, decent ball in, just over the head of Richard Ballard. More good pressing though from One Knox to create that opportunity.
It's through that direct play that we've talked about from Knoxville. So with Barnathan and Garnett, you cannot have the ability to let this ball bounce. You have to take the initiative and win that initial challenge and relieve some of that pressure that you've been under.
There's that cat and mouse game with Richmond wanting to play out from the back and One Knoxville not allowing them to do that. Vignal's back to pick it up. But again, for Richmond, when you have Neil Vignals picking up that ball just outside his own 18, that's not ideal. Calixtro took a couple deflections. It's a Richmond throw. Interesting match management spot in the game here. If you're Richmond, you're down 1-0. Yes, you had a great chance to equalize, but overall, not a great first half. You're just trying to get yourself to halftime and reset and regroup. Don't do anything too silly here and go down by 2.
I think you need to find real-time solutions, how to break this pressure. That's been a real difficult point for the home side. Too many times with the sloppy turnover.
Here goes Angelo Kelly onto the end of this. Kelly just tackled away. Perhaps was about to pull the trigger on a shot. Another loose ball, and this time Richmond able to get it clear, and now they might have the counter. And here's some space for Justin Suko roaming forward. Suko has a teammate to his right. Now does use him, but put too much on it for Sierakowski, and you hear the groans from the crowd in Richmond. Just not clicking for the kickers in the final third, but Sierakowski might make something of it. Pulls it back. Cross was blocked by the first defender. Silky touch out of the air by James Vaughn. And able to slam it off a defender for a throw.
But if you are clean in your build-out phase and you have the ability to break that first line of pressure, there is real estate to operate in. You can turn this game into a transition moment, but then it comes down to how clean can you be in executing and finding your intended target for that final third. That ball's into the path of Sierakowski. He takes that first touch and he can really put Lewis under some pressure.
Knoxville throw. Richmond's not able to create anything on that far touchline. Ballard feeling the effects of that impact. Sierakowski coming in kind of from the side, kind of from behind.
I have to think that's maybe a little bit of frustration from the attacking player. Hasn't had the service that he would like or make his impact felt so far into this game.
Chested and volleyed by Callum Johnson. The defending side of things weren't an issue for Knoxville last year either. The best defensive records in League One last season. Their problem in 2023 was scoring goals. One of the least prolific sides in that department too. That's why they missed the playoffs and finished 8th instead of being higher up the table. A lot of 0-0s and 1-1s and 1-0 defeats. Mark McKeever acknowledged that improving that attack was a big focus of his and his staff over the offseason. It certainly appears that they have done that in the early returns this year. The defensive solidity appears to have remained. McKeever even said, we can get better defensively, you know. He would say that as a coach. 5 to go until halftime, roughly. Still time maybe for Richmond to equalize before the break. They want a foul, they get one. Free kick. As Vignoles was bundled over, and you see James Vaughn wanting more action from referee Wesley Costa. Let's see it again.
Just so quick. It's a trailing leg for Macho that catches Vignoles. The right leg that comes in late. That's exactly what he's doing. Moments ago, we just saw how important set pieces can be from the kickers. So you're looking for, once again, quality service. One of your two center backs get on the end of it.
Tempers rising late in this first half. It was Schenfeld who delivered that gorgeous ball in a moment ago that Dakota Barnathan nearly scored from. It will be Schenfeld once again. Another good delivery. This one put across the end line. It is a corner. Kickers hoping they can equalize right in front of the Red Army late in this first half. Schenfeld to take this as well. Whips it in low, aiming for the head of Chandler O'Dwyer. Didn't reach him at the near post. Tries again. O'Dwyer diving. One block. O'Dwyer back on it. His cutback blocked out. It will be another corner. Skelton screaming at the assistant referee on the far side, and center referee Wesley Costa saying, stop that.
I do think there is an argument from Skelton and Matchell. One, there's a question mark for a handball to right arm as it's away from his body, but I do think it would have been very harsh to point to the spot close in proximity. I do think Matchell and Skelton are working at our silent referee because they do think that O'Dwyer's coming out from an offside position.
Schenfeld again. More air on this delivery, and that's easy for Sean Lewis. Goalkeeper of his caliber, you would expect to take that cleanly, and that's exactly what he did. It's been a better last 15 minutes or so since they conceded that goal from Richmond. Knoxville perhaps content to sit back a little bit more since they scored that opener. And capable of producing things on the counter. Schenfeld commits the foul there, and lots more after the whistle. And these two teams have concluded that they do not like each other late in this first half. Well, Schenfeld and Skelton both on the deck. Both claiming they were grievously harmed. Let's see.
I do think it's Moran that drops the shoulder first and bumps Angelo Kelly into Schenfeld.
How does Wesley Costa and his assistants try to untangle this?
Just watch number 6. He comes in late, drops his shoulder, and bumps Kelly. And that's why he gets into Schenfeld. A bit of frustration from the center midfielder. And all chaos ensues. You see Skelton comes in really late. Be very surprised if he does not pick up a yellow card here.
After that initial contact, it looked like both sides felt that they had to protect their guys. Schenfeld shown the yellow, and so is Skelton, so there you go. So Schenfeld and Vaughn both in the book for Richmond. Skelton, the first player carded for Knoxville tonight. See Schenfeld from Chile. This is his third USL League One side that he's suited up for. He also played for FC Tucson and Central Valley Fuego. We're into allegedly 2 additional minutes presented by Greenswell Growers. I think we're going to have more than that because we haven't played at all since stoppage time began. The 30th minute goal from Kempis Tequila, separating the sides just before halftime. How did that ball find Vinyals? And then Vinyals somehow able to find Suko. One Knox, though, hustling back into shape. Long ball down the right. This is going to stay in play for Sierakowski. And Sierakowski flagged for the foul. Much to the annoyance of the partisan crowd here in Richmond.
But it's better understanding from Richmond not to play through the press, but just play direct. And now Sierakowski tries to cut in essentially. Give credit to Halkley, he moves his feet. Dives in at the right second. Gate that man once again.
The Greenswell Growers stoppage time has been updated to 5 minutes, which makes sense. We had about a 3-minute stoppage in play there after that scuffle a moment ago.
It's going to be really important for this Richmond kicker side. We talk about with Darren Sarwatsky saying that we're a team that wants to provide opportunity for the youth.
Here's Vaughn, centering one, but too close to the goalkeeper, and Sean Lewis able to fall on top of it.
It's going to be a really big learning opportunity for the home side to not really get into any of the extracurricular activities off the ball. Let your football do all the talking. The other side, one Knoxville, a team that's full of experienced players that have known how to read the right moments in the games and how to react. It's going to be very interesting to see what message comes from Mark McGeever and Sawatsky.
James Thomas with the attacking throw. Good one toward the end line. Kempis Tequila. His pullback was intercepted by Vinyals. Vinyals looks to carry it himself up the pitch. Long from Lewis with about 90 seconds to play in this opening half. Miss kick there, late Richmond throw. Sierakowski now between 2 white shirts, did well. Vinyals. Turn a corner. Something one Knoxville have kept him from doing very effectively in this first half. Schenfeld. Skimmed off of Calixtro, somehow fell right to a kicker on the edge of the area. Played against Schenfeld twice and finally out for a Knoxville throw. Tuned at the half here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network, by the way. We'll send it back to the CBS Golazo studios. Your halftime report. And there is our halftime whistle. So, the goal by Kempis Tequila separating the two sides at the break. It came in the 30th minute. One Knoxville with a fine opening half performance. 45 gone, 45 to go on this Friday night in Richmond. It is one Knoxville 1, Richmond Kickers 0. And in just a moment, we will send it back to our studios. Great night for soccer in Richmond, but the home crowd not seeing what they'd like to see in the opening half. We'll see what adjustments they make. We'll see if Knoxville can win their 4th in 5 league matches when we come back for your second half in a bit. Back to the Golazo studios next.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
Back in the River City, Richmond, Virginia, we're at halftime today in this League One match between Richmond Kickers and one Knoxville SC. Well, last weekend saw the debut of the first ever edition of the Jägermeister Cup, and we had some tremendous matches and some really dramatic finishes up and down the slate. We begin in Spokane, where Spokane Velocity took a lead in the 20th minute at their gorgeous new home. This was Pierre Reedy with an expert finish, skidding it low off that turf into the corner. That looked like it was going to be the winning goal for a long time, but in the 94th minute, Central Valley would tie it as this was given as a penalty. And Spokane disagreed, but that was the decision, and it gave Central Valley the chance to equalize with one of the final kicks of regulation. The penalty put away by Robert Coronado to send us to spot kicks. And in that penalty shootout, Central Valley held their nerve very well. They converted 4 kicks, and Spokane only 2. And so it was Central Valley who would take the additional point. This winning goal, just eluding Carlos Marancio, got a fingertip to it, and more than that, in fact. Maybe felt he should have pushed it around the post, but wasn't quite able to do so. Central Valley, a really good result on the road. To Greenville then, where the Triumph took on Richmond Kickers. Richmond played very well in this game, and they had a chance to get off to a great start in the first half, as they earned an early penalty, but the spot kick from Nil Vignoles, saved by Christian Garner, and that kept it goalless through the first half. In the 70th minute, though, via a deflection, Richmond did take the lead eventually in the 70th minute. Ryan Sierakowski finding the back of the net. And that looked like it might hold up as the winner, but not quite, because Greenville laid on. From a wild scramble in front following a corner, they were able to turn it home through Evan Lee in the 89th minute. And so it was 1 goal each through 90, and it sent this game to penalty kicks as well. Both teams guaranteed of 1 point at that point. They were playing for a second point, and it would be Richmond who would take it. They converted all 5 of their spot kicks. Chandler O'Dwyer scoring the winner. Still a good result for Richmond on the road against Greenville, who've gotten off to such a great start this year. Chattanooga and 1 Knox, the Smoky Mountain Smackdown in Chattanooga for this one. It was goalless through the first half, thanks in part to a flying save that kept this 0-0 into the break. Great quick fingertips and a leap to tip it over the bar. So 0-0 early in the second half, and in the 48th minute, 1 Knox would find the eventual winner. James Skelton getting up, using that big frame of his. Such a good header. He's facing away from goal, flicking it with the back of his head. So deftly done. And so 1 Knox took the 1-0 lead and would take the result 1-0, take all 3 points. They came very close to a second goal as well. Following a corner, the second phase, Angelo Kelly in the mix, and eventually from the edge of the box, it was rocketed off the crossbar. But 1 Knox didn't need that second goal. They hung on 1-0. Crazy game in Lexington, where Lexington SC, who really struggled this year, underperforming after bringing in so many reinforcements over the offseason. This scuffle saw Tate Robertson sent off and Lexington down to 10, and then later in the second half, they would be reduced to 9. This was given as a dive, and a second yellow card was shown to Yannick Yakov. And so, with 9 men, Lexington looked sunk, but not so. From a late free kick, Kalen Fox. Fox in the box, indeed. And Lexington would steal all 3 points with a 1-0 victory in their Jägermeister Cup opener. A gut punch for forward Madison FC. Lexington, maybe that's the result that starts to turn their season around. To Omaha then, where it was Northern Colorado taking a lead against the run of play in the 17th minute. Bruno Rendon finishing off a counterattack, but the Owls would hit back twice right before halftime. In the 44th minute, Misael Rodriguez equalizing, and then about 60 seconds later, he did it again, following up his own rebound to head home. 2 goals for Rodriguez in about 60 seconds, and it was 2-1 at halftime. Northern Colorado would equalize in the second half. A bad back pass deflected a couple times, and Ethan Horde saw it ricochet off him and into the back of the net for 2-2. But in the shootout, a great performance from Wallace Lapsley, making 3 saves to help Union Omaha win the shootout. They take 2 points. The Hailstorms settle for 1. That was round 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Open Cup preview next.
Go get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Distance, oh, what an effort, and it's special. Machoma fires,
Oh! Looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
halftime here in Richmond. 1 Knox with the 1-0 lead thanks to Kempis Tequila's 30th minute goal. The U.S. Open Cup resumes this week, and we all know one of the beauties of the Cup is that there will be favorites and there will be underdogs, and that means there's always a chance to see a cup set.
Mertz again trying to play in Deekwa. Deekwa's in behind. Deekwa's open the scoring.
Chested down. Oh, that is spectacular. It's a cup set for Union Omaha.
Kasim cutting inside. And there it is. Cup set magic in the air tonight. Saved by Viniello. Rodrigo Lopez. It's improbable. It's indomitable. It's another cup set.
How many of those might we see this week? Plenty of potential, Ricky, as we look at that schedule for the round of 32. MLS sides playing USL sides in many cases. Detroit City, Houston Dynamo, Earthquakes, Oakland Roots. Those are some tasty ones.
I think the Earthquakes and the Oakland Roots, you look at the Oakland Roots, what they mean to that city. Close in proximity against San Jose. They signed Dom Dwyer right ahead of this opportunity. So what a fantastic opportunity that is for Dom Dwyer to get his first goal in an Oakland Roots jersey against the Earthquakes, who are struggling in MLS play. I do think that one is the biggest probability for a cup set in that screen.
We continue to look at that schedule next week. North Carolina FC, Phoenix Rising. That's a good all-USL matchup. It's Union Omaha, Sporting Kansas City. That's another one that you circle because SKC have to go to Omaha for that one.
And we know how good Union Omaha was a couple years ago in US Open Cup. But my eyes go down to Seattle Sounders and Louisville City, Las Vegas Lights, and LAFC. Two teams that are very familiar with one another. Las Vegas Lights, Dennis Sanchez having that team playing at a full time, and then we know how good USL side Blue City can be as they go to Seattle Sounders. That was going to be very interesting, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'm taking Las Vegas Lights.
It's going to be fun. Be sure to join the action on ussoccer.com Tuesday and Wednesday. Counting down to our second half kickoff here in the River City. 1 Knox leading the home side. We'll see if the Kickers can turn things around in half number 2.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
Our halftime highlights presented by the YMCA. Richmond and 1 Knoxville. An early chance for 1 Knox. Tremendous save 2 minutes in from Ryan Shello in his first league start.
It's a really good decision for Khalid Strode to cut this ball back. What a fantastic save that is from Shello. Just watch the footwork, the way that he just makes himself big, going back the other way. The wide areas of the field were really where 1 Knoxville wanted to create overloads and move in around that 18-yard box, the center of your screen. As he pulls off his individual marker, Tequila, the body control, the technical ability to pull it out of the air. Doesn't need to hit it hard, just needs to guide it into that far post. Fantastic goal for 1 Knox.
Richmond almost leveled it up 5 minutes later. Great delivery from Maxi Schenfeld. Even better save from Sean Lewis.
You put it anywhere else into the goal, it's 1-1. Take nothing away from the positioning from Lewis and textbook goalkeeping to punch it up and over the bar.
Robs Dakota Barnathan of what would have been that equalizing goal. Just about set for the second half kickoff. As our center referee Wesley Costa placing that ball back in the center spot. Richmond again in all red. That's one Knoxville out of your picture at the moment, but wearing the white and the orange. See what adjustments Richmond and head coach Darren Sawatsky have made at halftime. The impetus would be on them to change some things around perhaps because it did not click for them in the first half.
I do think it comes out to building out of the back. There's nothing wrong with playing direct and bypassing some of the lines to get Sierakowski some more touches higher up the field. Him, O'Dwyer, and Suko very quiet in that first 45 minutes.
Adrian Billhart has checked into the game for Richmond. That could be significant for them. Talked about him in the first half as we're back underway in half number 2. Richmond attacking from left to right in this second frame. In the deep twilight in Richmond, Virginia. Donnie Barnes, Ricky Lopez, Espen, glad to have you along on CBS Sports Golazo Network. USL League One under the lights on this Friday in the River City. But it was one Knoxville who were the better side in the first half. See what impact Adrian Billhart makes in this second 45. Out injured the last few weeks. Scored 3 goals for them in the early games this year. Lit up their offense often down that left side. Early touch here for Ryan Shello as he boots that clear. Also had Arthur Boshua check in for Chandler O'Dwyer. Shots for a penalty from one Knox. Those are waved away. And on we go. So a double change at half. Talked about the impetus being on Darren Sawatsky to change things up, and he certainly has. Putting on Billhart and Boshua. Taking off O'Dwyer and Suko. So the 2 attacking wingers in the first 45 both removed at the half. Mark McKeever has also made changes. Gio Calixtro, who did pull up at one point in the first half, continued on, but he has been removed now. Innocent Inshuti has come on in his place. Kingsford Ajay has also replaced Richard Ballard. Here is the first touch for Ajay down this left side. Ajay toward the top of the box. Clip toward that touch line and does eventually roll out for a throw. Kingsford Ajay played for Tormenta the last couple of years, won a League One title with them in 2022. Another one of those players who played for Coach Mark McKeever in Des Moines a few summers ago when they won the League Two title. And there is Arthur Boshua. Kelly trying to turn along the end line, ushered out strongly by Zaka Moran. Moran, by the way, making his 100th league appearance for Richmond tonight. He's a centurion for the Kickers now, just the 4th player in their distinguished 30-plus year history to reach that number. There is Adrian Billhart, just acquired this offseason. So double change by both sides at the half. Let's see how those players settle into this game.
It's going to be a different look going forward for both of these sides. We'll start with the home side. Boshua is going to stay as that lone striker, so you have Sierakowski, now Billhart on either side of him. Players that want to be direct in their movement. Boshua was a target number 9. He's going to stay high. He's going to bring players into this game, so you're going to start to see Vinyals have that connectivity between them and that front 3 on the other side from one Knox and Shuti and Ajay, players that are very direct in their movement, looking to challenge and stretch this back line for Richmond Kickers. So expect one Knoxville to play a little bit more direct and try to catch this game in transition moments.
Tussling for that ball there. It was all fair, said the referee. Scrappy sequence. Vinyals tracking back to win it for Richmond. Here's Vinyals again. See his skill on the ball. Boos from the City Stadium crowd. Bill Hart with his first touch. Stays on his feet acrobatically. Just that little sequence right there, something Richmond weren't able to do a lot of in the first half, maintaining possession through a couple challenges, and now they can work their way forward. The underlap into the box, and the cross way over hit. Better movement from the kickers, and product still not there yet.
I do think they seem a little bit more comfortable in their roles as well. You bring in Joshua, a big physical number 9, so now you don't have Skelton and Haugley stepping into that middle third and clogging that real estate, and that's when you start to see the spacing picking up. Vinyals, I think he's going to get on the ball a little bit more in this second half, just with Bill Hart staying high and wide, Sarakowski as well. A lot more threatening football for Dan Sawalski's side and this Richmond side. So if you are Skelton and Haugley, how decisive can you be? When you step into that middle third, you have to be sure that you're going to win the ball, because if you don't, there's going to be holes all over this back line.
Well, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Aaron Sawatsky indicating where he wants his players to be. He's always in black on the touchline. Mark McKeever wearing the blue and tan today. Whistle goes against Kempis Tequila, whose goal is the difference so far in the 30th minute. Mark McKeever said in the build-up to this game, Richmond can't break the lines if they don't have the ball. That's the game plan. Worked really well for them in the first half. Here they come now, looking to double that lead. And Schutte laid it off. Now Ajay taking it down. Ajay trying to bring a teammate into the play. Frustrated with himself as that didn't connect. Now Vinyals with the change of gears. It's an example of how Neil Vinyals is able to keep possession for his team, and does so again, dancing past a white shirt. Vinyals into the box, pulls it back, and a scuffed left-footed effort. Sarakowski still bulldozing after it, might fall for Bill Hart. Still in play for Vinyals. Vinyals skips past another, pulls it across, but straight into the arms of Sean Lewis. Frantic sequence. Richmond creating chaos in that Knoxville box, which they weren't able to do much of in the first half, but they still trail.
Just see how impressive Vinyals is. With the ball with his feet, his decision-making, but as this ball comes across, if you're Sarakowski, you need to be better with this. Fantastic opportunity as this ball's coming on. You hit it clean, you put pressure on Lewis. And it's the second phase once again. An attacking player, how do you slash across that near post? Because if you do.
Ajay at the other end. His centering attempt was cut off. And the tug back whistled on Sivert Haugley. See how much more easily, though, Richmond able to advance into that attacking area, and that's a great cutback against the grain. Joshua pulling it toward the top of the 6-yard box. Didn't have anybody in red arriving. And Ajay dwelling on the ball much too long, tackled off it by Vaughn. He stays down, play continues. Now the whistle stops play.
Takes a little bit too long to make a decision here. Jay. Oh, so awkwardly, we'll see if there's anything there. Hopefully he's okay to keep on going. For like and shooty, very direct. Wants to run in behind. Mark McGeever's side.
Martin McKeever having just subbed Ajay on at half. He'll be concerned if he can't continue. Ajay looks like he'll stay on for now. Now the card is shown. Card was shown to Sievert Haugley, a Knoxville center back, and it was for dissent, we're told. Didn't see what happened off the ball. Haugley, the Norwegian, played for Portland Timbers too in MLS Next Pro a couple of years ago. Drop ball and we're back in play. 10 minutes into the second half. And a positive start to it for Richmond. Knoxville always a threat on the counter, especially with the likes of Nshuti and Ajay on the pitch now.
But more importantly for one Knox, their two center backs are sitting on a yellow card. Skeleton and Haugley. So what do you do if you're a Richmond attacker? You go at them. You put them in very dangerous and tricky situations. I do think Shu has been very active since coming on, 10 minutes on, and just putting a body on the two center backs, making their life very difficult. Also given a presence that we haven't seen for the kickers to play off of.
So in layman's terms, Ricky, when you have a big target guy like Boshua who comes on the pitch, what you're saying is he stays higher up the field. That forces the defenders to respect that, which creates more space in the middle of the pitch for Richmond to advance the way they weren't able to do for most of the first half.
100%, and that's when you start to see Vigneault get in those half pockets of space between the lines, between that midfield line and that back line. So just solely from his presence, to his positioning, he's changed the game. Because too many times it was Sarakowski, he's more of a false number 9, likes to be part of the build-out, likes to make those slashing runs. And then it was just passing players off. So how many times did we see Haugley or Skeleton in that first half step into that middle third and just clog passing lanes, put a body on Vigneault? Now with Boshua, you can't really have that.
One Knox, beautifully constructed down this right side. Kelly trying to pull it back. It's Kelly again. Leaves it for a strike, and it whistles just past that far post. And it stays just a one-goal lead for One Knox. Callum Johnson, who was denied by a brilliant save in the 3rd minute by Ryan Shello, just missing their second goal there.
Talked about Kelly, how good can he be in tight spaces? 2 goals, 2 assists on the season. The ball stuck to his foot as he goes down. Falls kindly to Johnson. Right idea, low and hard gives you a chance, but just pulls it a little bit too wide.
That's how quickly One Knox can create danger, though. Really slick play with Angelo Kelly again at the heart of it, as he usually is for them. This is Ajay, who appears to have shaken off that knock a few minutes ago. Bill Hart with a neat turn, looking to spring his teammates. Laid off neatly by Boshua. Now Bill Hart charging through the middle. As Vigneault's to his left. Spread it instead for Schenfeld. And then Schenfeld tried to skip past one too many. Richmond already with more danger and more shots, more touches in One Knoxville's box than they had in the first half, in the opening 13 minutes of the second. Kempis Tequila's goal in the 30th minute. Still the only one of the match. Kelly, what a good turn from him again. Angelo Kelly rampaging down the right. Kelly into the box, claiming a penalty. The foul is given. I think it's being given just outside the area. It'll be a free kick at that angle, and Kelly and the One Knox players and substitutes all over by referee Wesley Costa saying, wasn't that in the area? Shouldn't that be a penalty? Just a free kick, apparently.
Injured O'Kelly's coming alive in this second half. We'll take a look at here. It's a good call. It's outside the box. But if you're Schenfeld, excuse me, the way that you go down, very rash. None of the ball, all of Kelly. I said earlier, as a defender, if you leave your feet, you have to be so sure that you're going to make a play on this ball. The timing's off. Now, once again, One Knox has a really good opportunity to double their lead.
Interesting spot for a free kick. It's basically a very short corner, right from the edge of the 18 along the end line.
What's even more surprising, Donnie, Schenfeld is already on a yellow card. Though that he leaves his feet, could have easily been off the field.
James Thomas to deliver from close range. Lofts it into the 6-yard box, and a foul given against Knoxville, much to the relief of Richmond in this home crowd. Well, Schenfeld and Richmond get away with that in the end. Tackled very close to a penalty, although appeared to be the right call, as you said. As at the other end, just wide. And inches away from an equalizer for Richmond as they went back to front in a flash and didn't miss by a lot.
There's just the spacing once again. Sarakowski seemed a little bit more comfortable playing in wide areas, and then he comes centrally to fill in the gaps. Just hits it very clean, very pure, does not miss by much.
Really interesting setup for these last 30 minutes now. Richmond having to chase the game. Knoxville dangerous on the counter. Here's Ajay roaming all the way across to the right now. Ajay faked to put one in with the right. Now to the end line. Claiming a corner. There was the deflection off the attacker. Goal kick, says Wesley Costa. Well, the USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Here's Billhart running all the way onto the end of this as it continued to roll. Nobody dealt with it for Knoxville, and Billhart continues on. Pull it back for Vinyals. Vinyals down the left. Chance to cross. Skimmed in low. Wouldn't fall for anybody in red. Arthur Boschua was trying to settle and turn. Couldn't do so. It's a throw for Richmond. And they're frustrated that a Knoxville player is staying down in the box. They want to keep the tempo up. Charlie Matchell.
Good action once again from Richmond. That's Matchell. I do think Shua takes out of his leg as he's trying to kick the ball.
Richmond able to win it on that touchline. Schenfeld did well to get something in. Boschua got his head to it, but it spins harmlessly, and Lewis can take. Richmond free kick. About 27 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Ooh, that was lost dangerously by Moran. Knoxville sniffing around for that second goal. Callum Johnson. Sievert Haugley. Spell of possession now for Knoxville as they look to calm this game back down. It's a good ball for Stuart Ritchie, former Richmond kicker, still just 22 years old. Bill Hart, though, does well to get in his way and win the ball. Here's the skill that he has. Able to sidestep Innocent and Schutte. But again, Knoxville able to win that second ball and regain possession and regain control, which is exactly what they want. And they lose it, and here goes Schenfeld, tearing down the pitch. 3 red shirts with him. Schenfeld tackled from behind, and it is a foul. It is a free kick, and it is a yellow card. Just outside the 18-yard box. Dangerous free kick coming for the home side. And James Thomas makes it all 3 members of the back line now for Knoxville, all on yellows.
That's a professional foul from Thomas. He knows exactly what he's doing. Catches Schenfeld on the follow-through. Clear-cut yellow card. Now all defenders for the visitors on a booking now. So they need to be very disciplined in their positioning, but also decision making to pick and choose the challenges that they go into and how they go into it.
Well, Charlie Matchell, who took a seat in the penalty box a couple minutes ago, he's coming off. And Yassine Vanderplume will replace him. Vanderplume, who played for Coach Mark McKeever at Young Harris, the Division II NCAA school where McKeever coached for many years. So he congratulates Charlie Matchell on a strong effort tonight. It's the attacking free kick for Richmond. Inside these final 25 minutes of the 90. And it's James Vaughn who's standing over it. Vaughn tries to play it in low, comes to Bill Hart. Bill Hart clips it right side. Couldn't find Dakota Barnathan. It's a bit disappointing in the end from Richmond.
It's an opportunity that deserves better as you try to maybe overcomplicate a little bit if you're Vaughn, trying to play around the wall, 1-2. Just whip it in, see what happens. You've had success getting on the end of set pieces.
In general, I think Knoxville have done really well at not giving away too many set pieces tonight. We talked about how dangerous Richmond have been, and they've looked dangerous in the few that they've had, but haven't had many. And here's Ajay with the goalkeeper way off his line. Ryan Shello had to get there and did. The flag was up, though, against Ajay. Ryan Shello immediately given 3 different balls to put back in play.
Only need 1 of those to play this game.
The ball kids all trying to do their part to help the home side not take up any time. Can't fault the effort.
Once again, just look at the space between lines. About 20, 30 yards between that midfield line and back line from one knock, something that we did not see. The 2 double pivot staying a little bit at home as a security blanket, but if you're the Richmond Kickers, you need to be a little bit better and cleaner on the ball. Too many times you're giving the ball over very sloppily.
Bit of a wild leap for that long ball from Boshua, and he's penalized. And Jordan Skelton holding his face. James Thomas indicating to Skelton, saying, look.
And not even looking at the ball. Boshua.
So into the final quarter of the 90. Still the 30th minute goal by Kempis Tequila. The difference in the match. As things stand, one Knoxville would make it 4 wins out of 5 in the league. Also won their opener in the Jägermeister Cup group stage last weekend. Excellent start to 2024 for Knoxville. And at the moment, they are on course to continue it. It's still time for Richmond, in front of their vocal crowd, to turn things around. They'll have to defend this throw first. Flip toward the 18-yard box. Ajay with his back to goal. Laid it off for Kelly, who tried to return it to Ajay. Too many red shirts in the way, but then turned over on the outlet, and it's going to come right back at Richmond. It's Tequila. And Kelly. And Ajay. Again, very crowded at the top of the 18. They do well to keep hold of it for a moment. And then a right-footed strike forces a save out of Shello. Hit with power, but Shello well positioned.
And we've seen already, 69 minutes in, Johnson, the ability to get on the end of things, but the technical ability to hit a ball with pace and power. With the midfielder picking and choosing your times when to advance yourself is so important. I do think Vanderploem, as he sits a little bit deeper, you give the freedom to Kelly and Johnson to advance higher, go and search the game. So it's a nice little tactical change from Mark McKeever here and one Knoxville.
Interesting seeing Stuart Ritchie cutting off that passing lane to Adrian Billhart a moment ago. That's a guy that one Knox definitely don't want to get the ball at his feet.
And he's shown glimpses of what he can do when he's on the ball. Left-footed plays on the right-hand side, so always wants to come centrally. And then you have the off-the-ball runs from Sierakowski and Boshua. I do think the next step in the progression for Billhart.
Here goes Angelo Kelly after winning it back. Kelly's cross. Richmond able to do enough, and now here's Billhart with some space to roam. Billhart trying to cut infield. Johnson on his shoulder. Billhart clipped. Was he fouled? Referee says it was a fair challenge. On we go. 20 minutes to play.
Just talking about Billhart, how good he can be. 3 goals already on the season. The next step of his progression, good run.
Sliding challenge. Had to be good from Griffin Garnett, and was. Now Billhart, not his best first touch, but he'll have room to track it down. What can Adrian Billhart create? Cutting in on his left. Billhart straight at Sean Lewis. And he had James Vaughn screaming at him to pull it back.
Been very active since coming on the field. 3 goals on the season. The next step is his decision-making in the final third. A player that gets himself into really good opportunities and positions higher up the field, but you would expect to have a little bit more goals and assists to his name. It all comes down to that final action. Understanding when to pass, how to pass, and when to go solo. Moments just like that, you just roll the ball into Vaughn. He's facing towards the goal already.
2 more changes for Richmond. Sierakowski has come off, and Guy Franca is on. Subs are presented by the Beatbox.
Coming in for number 11, Ryan Sierakowski, is number 14, Guy Franca.
João Gomiro has also come on. Attacking player from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Guy Franca is an interesting one. This is his first appearance of the year. One of the players brought in to be one of their starting center backs before the season. Franca, though, was injured in the opening week of preseason. This will be a goal kick for Richmond. So it's the first time Franca has been able to see the field, working his way back over the last couple months. Both sides lobby the center referee after this last sequence.
Once again, you never want to let the ball bounce. Keeley just gets there before Franca. It's interesting, the sub for Darren Sawatsky. You take off Sierakowski, you bring on a center back, down a goal. And then you bring off Vaughn and Gomiro, going to play in the center of the park. You expect him to make maybe attacking-minded subs as you're trying to chase this game. There's 18 plus remaining here. Unless they go into a 3-back system. The only reason I would see to bring on a center back.
Yeah, that might be it. They might have him slot in next to Barnathan and Garnett, their existing center backs, and push Schenfeld and Fitch higher up the flanks. Have to take gambles here over these final 20 minutes. Fitch is making that run down the right. Vignoles didn't use him. Strikes it on goal. Beaten aside by Lewis. Rebound was there, but was cleared partially. Still loose above the 18-yard box. One Knox deal with it eventually.
That's exactly what we talked about. The back 3 now will be Barnathan, Garnett. To take a look at this last opportunity from the kickers, but if you're Vignoles, you have to play this ball into Fitch because he makes a brilliant run. If you break a line, it's a 1v1 with the goalkeeper. He hits it well, as Lewis, once again, is positioned to perfection.
So it's high risk, high reward for Richmond in this final stage of the match, chasing that goal. They've pushed those fullbacks higher up the pitch, leaving themselves more exposed to the counter, but they're winning the ball high up the pitch currently, putting that pressure on one Knox. Into the box it goes, Boshua leaping for it, got there first, but couldn't guide it on frame.
He's been causing all sorts of problems. Of course, Skelton and Haugley is positioning off the shoulder, off the blind side. And as you go into a three-back system, now you have a little bit more presence on the wide parts of the field. Schenfeld, and Fitch on either side. A really good ball in. Boshua unable to turn his shoulders and get it on target. Once again, good action from the home side.
So we head toward the final 15. Darren Sawatsky helping his side get that ball back in play. Currently Kempis Tequila's 30th minute goal has Knoxville on course for 3 points, and they have space to counter now. Lots of room through the middle. Down the left, Stuart Ritchie. Ritchie into the middle. Kelly trying to take it down with his back to goal, claiming he was contacted. Play goes on. And now the whistle goes for a free kick for Knoxville. Arthur Boshua, defending far from his preferred attacking spot, commits the infraction.
If you're Kelly here, you run onto this with your head. It's a good opportunity. Nothing in that. As Vanderploem just takes a little bit too long. Boshua just takes a little bit too much of the midfielder. Trailing right leg, that gets him in trouble. More importantly, one Knox has a really good opportunity to ask questions of Shello in this back line from Richmond.
Kingsford Ajay positioning the ball. Looks like a four-man wall being set up by Richmond and Ryan Shello. Kempis Tequila on his rear end. Maybe struggling with a cramp as referee Wesley Costa indicates that treatment will be needed. Interesting to see how much stoppage time is added to the end of this second half. We've seen across not just the USL, but world soccer in general over the last couple of years, a lot more stoppage time being tracked and added at the end of halves. Possible we might see quite a bit at the end of this game. Looks like Jordan Skelton is headed off the pitch for Knoxville as they continue to treat Tequila. See Jalen Chrysler, he's about to replace Kempis Tequila. We're not sure about the status of Jordan Skelton. He went to the bench a moment ago. We're not sure if he was just retrieving something from there or if he was being taken off. Normally you wouldn't take off one of your key center backs unless you had to. Here's Chrysler though, who is another player who played for Richmond for a couple of years. Now we're ready for the free kick, and Kingsford Ajay. Ajay strikes on goal, but simple save for Shello. Here's Fitch for Richmond. Hold-up play from Boshua was good, earning his side a throw. Quickly for Gomiro. Gomero hustled off the ball, and Angelo Kelly's away. Gomero tugging him back. Advantage played by the referee. Well, Knoxville not feeling a need to take any great risk on the counter. Kelly now not fouled, says Wesley Costa. So Fitch advances down the right again. Move the ball, yells Terrence Sawatsky from that far touchline. Vignoles. Great dummy, the leave, then the low cross, not the best. Stabbed clear by Skelton.
And it's the second time now that it's only Boshua for the Richmond Kickers in the attacking 18-yard box. You're down a goal, there's 11 minutes left. You need to get more numbers higher up the field if you're Darren Sawatsky. So if the ball's on the left side of the field, if you're Bildhart, you have to have the ability to make that secondary action. And vice versa, if it's on the right side of the field, that's when you're looking at a player like Vignoles, Gomero to come and advance himself higher up the field, because too many times it's only one red jersey versus about 4 of one Knox.
Free kick Richmond right in front of their bench. Into the final 10 minutes of the 90 at City Stadium here in RVA. Darren Sawatsky said this week, we're building a team that can dominate with the ball. We're getting better each week. They've been good the last 2 games. This is into the box. Lewis came, didn't really get much on it, but maybe got enough. Couldn't tell if that came off a Richmond head or off Lewis's fists. Works out for Knoxville in the end. Can Richmond rescue a late point at home? Can Knoxville see this out and win another one? Strong turn, Vignoles, he's fouled. Another attacking free kick for Richmond, who, after looking dangerous on these in the first half, haven't been able to create much from them in the second. Vignoles to take. In sharply. Flick toward the edge of the area, and Ajay can bring it away for 1 Knox. Richmond still trying to unlock this difficult Knoxville defense. It's been a much better second half from them, but still haven't created a whole lot of clear-cut chances. This might be something on the counter for Knoxville now. Callum Johnson has Nshuti to his right. Ajay trailing the play. Johnson happy to take it in the direction of the corner flag and chew up more time. Now puts in the cross. Easily cleared away by Richmond. But they need the ball. They need possession. They need attack. Here goes Schenfeld trying to provide exactly that. Doesn't have a lot of help with him, but he does win a free kick. That's a bad one to give away for Knoxville. Knoxville look like they've gotten tighter to Schenfeld in this second half to cut off those crosses from the left. Here's Fitch. Neat back heel flick from Bildhart. Keeps it moving for Gomero. Bildhart again. Harassed by Kelly. Boy, how good has Kelly been again tonight?
The work rate on both sides of the ball. A player that Mark McGeever highlighted on our phone call. Full trust in him. A leader in his own right by example.
Moran. Barnathan. Gomero. Trying to split lines for Fitch, but too sharp. And Another goal kick for Knoxville as the clock continues to tick away. There's another change for them as Rodolfo Castro comes on in place of Angelo Kelly. Mentioned his maturity. Mark McKeever said this week, "I'm an emotional guy and Angelo allows me to be stable and grounded." He's always grounded, oozes humility. I look at him and say, well, if he can do it, I can do it as well. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Still time for Richmond to change the narrative, but One Knox have looked pretty comfortable over the last 15 minutes. Here's Fitch. And there's space on the right. This is Barnathan. Barnathan's cross. Not able to connect with Vignoles, who is making a run towards the 6-yard box. And here goes Ajay, galloping away on the counter. Kingsford Ajay. One-on-one with Garnett. Across to Nshuti. Innocent Nshuti. And now falls for a strike that's against the defender. Rodolfo Castro just on. Unleashed that one. 5 minutes of the 90 left. Kempis Tequila scoring in the 30th minute. That's the lone tally so far. One Knox would be just fine with it staying that way. There's a One Knox throw as they continue to melt that clock. 9 shots for Richmond tonight, 7 for Knoxville. Here's Nshuti, turning and shooting. Too close to Shello. Good play, though, by Innocent Nshuti. Starting with back to goal, able to get something away. Forward from Moran. One Knox have won those second balls really effectively tonight. Over the top for Ajay, up against 3, does really well. Kingsford Ajay still. Lays it off for Stuart Ritchie. Ritchie not able to dance by. Attack breaks down for Knoxville, but again, Richmond have to bring it the length of the pitch as they chase that equalizing goal. Long from Barnathan. Boschwa on the chase. Defended, though, by Skelton. Boschwa able to get onto it. Boschwa versus Skelton. Those are 2 big bodies up against each other. Pulled back. Billhart maneuvering into the middle. Billhart unleashes. Defender in the way. Vignoles. Again, does really well to get turned. Now Gomiro. Pulled across, big chance! Another terrific stop from Sean Lewis. Hasn't had much to do tonight, but he's been immense when called on. Some late pressure from Richmond. Lewis made that brilliant save in the 35th to deny Dakota Barnathan from point-blank range. Just as good there as he had to get down quickly to beat that away. Gomiro pulling it wide. Schenfeld. Schenfeld in with his weaker right foot. Boschwa leaping for it. They win the first ball, but not the second. Vignoles shields it off. Vignoles maybe wanted to hit that on the half volley. It wouldn't sit down for him. Now lofts it toward Boschwa between 2 defenders. Claims for a penalty. And I think the flag was up. The referee's arm was in the air. 2 minutes to go. Sean Lewis keeping his side ahead late.
And the kickers are at their best when the ball's moving quick, and players are decisive in that final third. As Fitch gets himself, watch his head. Good ball in. Vignoles, who starts to play, ends it. What a really good save once again that is from Lewis. The athletic ability to get down, the reaction quickly. salvages his side. He's been massive when asked upon.
Sean Lewis won the Golden Gloves last year in League One. As good as One Knox are defensively, these are the kind of nights that they often ask him to have. He's not called on that often, doesn't have too many big saves to make, but he is right there and he's razor sharp in those couple defining moments every game.
That's the sign of being a good goalkeeper, being confident, being mentally into this game. When asked upon how do you answer the question, because you know this One Knoxville side, we talked about how good defensively they have been. You're not going to get a lot of chances against them, so how clinical can you be when you get those chances? And when you have a goalkeeper like Lewis making those saves, really difficult team to break down.
Well, we're about to find out just how many minutes of stoppage time we'll have. You're hearing 6 as that number. Sean Lewis taking his time over this free kick, as any veteran goalkeeper would. So we're into those 6 minutes, presented by Greenswell Growers.
6 minutes of stoppage time have been added. 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Is there a late one from Richmond? The chase here from Bill Hart up against Sievert Haugley. Haugley able to put it out for a throw. Bill Hart leaves the throw to Schenfeld. Remember, Richmond are dangerous from these attacking throws. Again, they haven't had many of them tonight, especially in the second half. Schenfeld backing up, launching it into the area, but not his best. Fitch gets to the second ball, but couldn't guide it to a target, and Knoxville gallop away on the counter. And Ajay sprinting at that back line. Only 2 back for Richmond. Ajay still, Kingsford Ajay, saved by Shello. Rebound acrobatically cleared by Bashua in his own 18-yard box. Not something your target center forwards often asked to do. Ajay had Rodolfo Castro screaming for that ball to his right that whole time. Scooped along by Moran. Clip toward Bill Hart. Adrian Bill Hart! The flag stays down. Richmond are level in stoppage time. The Kickers finally punch back. And have they stolen a point? Late here in Richmond.
Comes down to the decision-making and the composure from Gomero here. As he takes his time, he says shoot. He sees a run from Bill Hart. Weak side from the outside in. And it's a textbook header. Back across where it came from. Just watch everyone in a white jersey gets caught ball watching. And Bill Hart, a player that we've talked about, gets himself into really good opportunities, but how do you get more goals and more assists under that young man's talent? 4th on the season, and more importantly, draws this thing even in minute 93.
An Uptown Alley goal, Adrian Bill Hart in the 92nd minute. Man down for One Knox after the restart.
How good of a ball is that from Gomero? The vision, the composure, the decision-making, and the timing of it as he slows things down. That gives Bill Hart the ability to loop his run to keep himself onside. And then you have the quality, the right weight. And then Bill Hart finishes off. If you're Darren Sawatsky, you have to be so pleased with that team goal from back to front.
And the Red Army with something to celebrate finally tonight. Joao Gomero. His first name is pronounced Joao, and the emphasis on that play on the wow. Left Bill Hart with a pretty simple finish in the end, but credit to Bill Hart, had to get himself there. And still had to tuck it away, which, as we've seen, is easier said than done against Sean Lewis. We talked in the first half about how much he can change the game when he's on. Out injured the last few weeks, and Richmond really missed him, and we see exactly why. James Thomas waiting to be let back on the pitch after having to receive treatment. Probably have some more time beyond those 6 minutes. Now it's Richmond who are looking for a late winner. What a turn that would be. Here's Billhart in some space, facing a wall of white jerseys. Fell back to Moran, and now Gomiro. 1 assist already. Fitch making the run. Ambitious ball didn't reach him. Will spin out for a throw. Simon Fitch getting ready to launch one. Giving himself as much of a run-up as he can. Fitch in. Initial flick on one by Bashua. Cannoned out. Is it a corner or a throw? It's a throw by that corner flag. Richmond desperate for a ball. This time, Fitch leaves it for Schenfeld. Schenfeld plays it short instead. Gomiro swings it in, back post. Hung up for a long time, over Billhart, over everyone. Knoxville throw in the final minute of the 6. We'll see if it ends up being the final minute of the game. Well, for a long time, it was looking like this game was going to peter out, and One Knox were going to see it out for another 3 points. Richmond able to produce that moment. This would be a really good point for them if it stays this way, even though they want more than that now.
You start to see the style of football that Darren Sawatsky wants to play, especially in the second half. They're at their best when they're decisive, when the ball's moving quick, when it's 1-2 touch, and changing the point of attack. Something we didn't see from this kicker side in the first 45 minutes. And now you're looking for consistency. That's the next step in progression for this side. And yes, they're inexperienced. Yes, they're young. But this is a fantastic opportunity here. Maybe get another one.
They have an attacking free kick, and Neil Vignoles is over it. Vignoles right into the mix. Out comes Lewis. Safe hands to calm things down. Now a long bouncing ball at the other end. Tricky for a moment. And Shello able to claim and putting it right back in play for Fitch. Fitch trying to bend that around the back line gorgeously for Billhart. Billhart chose not to put it in the box first time. Faces up instead, chops onto his left, now swings it toward the 6. And it falls for Vignoles, took a deflection and spun just over the bar. It'll be a corner. Hearts and mouths for One Knox. He'll take it from this near side, and Schenfeld will deliver left-footed. Might be the last chance of the match. Schenfeld's in-swinger. First ball won. Vignoles volleys off a defender. Another corner. The City Stadium crowd in full voice in these late moments. They've seen their side haul themselves level. Now they want more. Swung in by Vignoles. Second ball. Scrambled out of the area for now. Billhart juking one way and another. And there's full time as referee Wesley Costa blows his whistle. And so the Smoky Mountain Boys and the River City Roos share the points tonight. It looked like One Knox would take all 3 for a long time. But Adrian Billhart's 92nd minute leveler earns a late one for Richmond. It ends tonight. Richmond Kickers 1, One Knoxville 1.
Thought this game was a story of 2 halves. First half, it was One Knoxville. They were the one asking the question. They were the one on the front foot. Give credit to Darren Sawatsky. The subs that he made at halftime made a world of difference in terms of the confidence, in terms of the quality, and a presence to go forward. Bill Hart, Washua, Vinyals understood the challenges put forth by that man, and they executed in the end. I do think a 1-1 draw is a fair result between these two sides.
Our play of the match tonight, presented by Courtyard by Marriott. This late equalizer for Richmond. Beautiful ball in by Gomiro, finished deftly by Bill Hart. Off the bench for the second 45, made that impact that we thought he might.
Back across where he came from, it gives you a chance. Nothing that Lewis can do. Fantastic goal from Bill Hart.
The smoke rose from the Red Army section. And so City Stadium, this big crowd, go home reasonably happy as their side gets something from it. The man of the match presented by Kiter, that guy Adrian Bill Hart. 4th goal from league play already for him. What a signing he's been for Richmond. In just a moment, we'll wrap things up. It ends 1-1 in the River City tonight.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Great night in Richmond. Those fans saw a late goal. They'll go home happy as their side salvages a late point against Knoxville as it ends 1 apiece here this evening. Let's see our full-time highlights tonight presented by the YMCA. Richmond and Knox. And Knoxville had very much the better of the first half. They almost had a lead 2 minutes in. What a save by Ryan Shello here.
Could have been a completely different game, but as this ball pops out, it's Johnson that gets on the end of it. But the athletic ability, the body control from Shello, and as he carries it away, more important, there's no rebound. Fantastic save.
In the 30th minute, though, Knox would take the lead. It would be a beautiful ball in eventually from Stuart Ritchie on the overlap, and a terrific volleyed finish by Tequila.
But it's the movement. As this ball is coming into the 18-yard box, he pops off his individual marker, who is Garnett, and it's a body control. As he closes up his hips, he helps it onto that far post. But as Lewis, you see Shello, he says, I can do one better. Right on top of that 6-yard box. Fantastic ball in from Schenfeld. Even better header from Barnathan. The positioning from Lewis was top class.
In the 74th minute, Richmond, they were building in the second half. Didn't create as much danger as they would have liked. Nil Vinyals striking one solidly, but a fairly simple save for Lewis by his standards.
And the game was so much better for the kickers in the second half. Players that wanted to get on the end of it, they were asking questions. They were challenging the shape of Knox, and this is a fantastic move once again. As Fitch comes around the corner, it's Vinyals on top of the 6-yard box. Left foot, really good save once again from Lewis.
Thought that would be the save that would salt away all 3 points for Knox. Not the case, though. In the 92nd minute, Joao Gomiro, great first touch to settle, couple dribbles, and then watch this clipped ball in. Bill Hart with the finish.
It's a decision-making. It's the slowing down of the game to let Bill Hart just creep into the back post. Fantastic ball in, even better header. Low and back across where it came from, and this thing ends 1-1. They share the point.
They do indeed, as the red smoke wafted over the Red Army section. Good night for Ryan Shello in his first league start for Richmond, a guy who has resurrected his career here, as many others have. The Kickers have become a club that does that pretty routinely with players, and Shello appears to be the latest in that line. So a good night of soccer. We hope you enjoyed it here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. They certainly did, as they always do. For our great production crew, for Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good night from the River City and City Stadium, where it finished this evening. Richmond Kickers 1, Knoxville 1.
Copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.